model city, something for every boy to dream about. Perfect in every detail, the 101 miniature models work at the command of an unseen hand. Here we are at the industrial area. See those buckets carrying their load in an endless procession. At the psychological moment, they discharge their contents with a never-failing precision and accuracy. The railway system is a hive of activity. And speaking of trains, coal must be obtained. So let us show you the pit head, with its miniature cage bringing a load of trucks to the surface, ready to be hauled away. The coal is conveyed along the chute and finally tipped into the waiting train. This model reminds us of the giant cranes used in huge engineering undertakings, and it can lift too. What's a load of spoil to this steam shovel, with its uncanny robo-like movements? Here's another way of hoisting metal loads, the electromagnet crane, which attracts the iron ore loosened by the workmen. This load's on its way to the sea, conveyed down the chute into the boat already waiting to take it to a nearby port. From adjacent forests, great logs are easily negotiated with a timber crane, as they're hoisted and deposited into the waiting trucks, maybe to be transported to a nearby sawmill. Farewell, little city of make-believe, a masterpiece of engineering, pulsating with the life of machinery, the movements of which are all controlled by some hidden energy.
77th Division in convoy skirts Leyte's coast. Objective, eastern shore of Ormoc Bay. Time, 3rd anniversary of Pearl Harbor. In Ormoc Bay, catching the Japs by surprise. Some of these films were made by Navy cameramen. After a 20-minute bombardment, the first wave goes ashore. Shortly thereafter, a Jap aerial assault against our ships. An enemy plane is hit. A transport struck amidship. Survivors from abandoned vessels. A sailor swims out to effect a rescue. The transport which sank had already unloaded troops. Other survivors leave their raft to board a minesweeper. A whaleboat rescues more survivors. The 77th, veterans of Guam, hit the beach at Epeel, 3 miles below Ormoc. Heading inland and then along the coastal road to Ormoc, troops meet no opposition at first. At this time, the bulk of the enemy's forces is concentrated further down the coast to oppose the U.S. 7th Division. The 77th's objective, to split Jap forces on the island. Opposition is encountered near Camp Downs. Tank gives protective cover as medics remove a wounded soldier. On 10th December, opposition intensifies as infantry near Ormoc. Ormoc falls 52 days after General MacArthur launched the Battle of the Philippines. Capture of this last Jap stronghold on Leyte deprived the enemy of a major port through which supplies and reinforcements had been funneled to sustain their defense. The major part of the Japanese 35th Army of about 35,000 was left holding positions 15 miles to the north. The infantry enters Ormoc. A Jap suicide. The Jap garrison fought almost to the last man. This Jap was one of the few captured. He leaves American quarters after interrogation. Stocking up on 10-1 field rations to sustain the final drive to eliminate the Japs from Leyte. Gas masks follow troops into the city. A wounded soldier is greeted by General Bruce, commander of the 77th. At a regimental command post, General Bruce and Colonel Vincent Tanzola confer on operations north of Ormoc. An attack is directed across the bay at an enemy transport previously caught while attempting to land reinforcements. The Ormoc landing was the last big operation on Leyte, paving the way for further amphibious landings in the Philippines. This operation gets underway from Leyte Gulf. Under command of Rear Admiral A.D. Struble, who commanded naval craft in the Ormoc landing, a convoy of 150 ships bypasses most of the Philippine Islands and heads toward one of the largest of the group, Mindoro. Sailing almost always in sight of land where the enemy had air bases, the convoy is subjected to sporadic air attacks for 2 days. "250 enemy planes were destroyed during the whole operation. Entering the Sulu Sea after a trip of 600 miles, shore bombardment begins at 07:05 hours, 15th December, lasting 20 minutes. Another Jap air attack. One of our warships is hit. Veteran troops without previous amphibious experience hit several beaches on the southwest coast of the island, meeting no opposition. Principal objective was the airstrip at San Jose. Forward elements penetrate more than a mile inland within 90 minutes after the first landing. A second wave hits the beach. In going from Leyte to Mindoro, our troops pass from a wet to a dry season. Still no opposition. It's reported that the island is apparently lightly garrisoned, but its nearness to southern Luzon poses a constant threat to our invading forces. The troops move inland and advance toward San Jose. A Jap barracks is approached cautiously by men of the 2nd Battalion. Following a narrow gauge railroad into San Jose, the railroad connects the sugar central at San Jose with Kamanawit Point Wharf, one of our landing areas. Ships disgorge tanks, bulldozers, tractors, and other heavy equipment. Supplies needed for building and improving airfields and for the advance up the island. An aviation engineer battalion launches construction work at San Jose Field. Airfields on southwest Mindoro will place enemy installations on Luzon, southern Formosa, as well as those on the South China coast within effective range of Far Eastern Air Force bombers. .4 inches of rain in 24 hours, ending 9th December, flood a regimental bivouac area of the 92nd Division at a point 17 airline miles south of Bologna. The course of the Idice River, which runs north and south past Bologna, is normally wide, dry, and rock-covered. Bivouacking here, the regiment was caught unprepared by the downpour. A final check reveals very small losses of materiel and no casualties. While average rainfall in autumn for this vicinity is 18 inches, by early December, the 5th Army front had received 25 inches of rain. On 10th December, Lieutenant General Lucian K. Truscott, Jr., newly appointed commander of the 5th Army, is greeted by Major General Jeffrey Keyes on the Apennine front below Bologna. Most recently with the 6th Corps in France, General Truscott returns to the theater of operations in which he won laurels at Anzio. Through a shift in the Mediterranean High Command, Lieutenant General Mark W. Clark succeeds Field Marshal Alexander as Commander-in-Chief of the Allied 15th Army Group. With General Truscott at his side, General Clark bids farewell on 15th December to the staff, officers, and men of the 5th Army. He had commanded it since its activation on 5th January 1943. Now he leaves to take command of all Allied forces in Italy, including both the 5th and the British 8th Army. Sees German newsreel film designed to rally the German people behind an all-out program of labor recruiting initiated last summer. Effective 1st September, all theaters except movie houses are closed by Joseph Goebbels, who has now received the title of Reich Plenipotentiary for total war. An indication of Nazi utilization of all available resources. trolley cars marked city freight service are used for goods instead of passengers. Confident slogans to maintain and stimulate German labor morale. Addressing a rally of armament workers in the Rhineland district, Goebbels declares, "Before we admit the enemy to German soil and submit ourselves to his will, we will first work our hands bloody and work to our last breath." Women under 50 are subject to a labor draft. Even men and women over 65 are being assigned fairly light manufacturing at home. German miners coming off shift. They are volunteering after work to dig trenches and throw up earthworks. It's presumed that these scenes were photographed in East Prussia, where activity of this type was intensified as the Red Army drew near in October of last year. Nazi functionaries pose with work gangs to indicate complete solidarity on the home front. These films from the cameras of captured Nazi combat photographers portray the initial hours of Field Marshal Gerd von Rundstedt's surprise advance. After exploratory thrusts on 16th December, the campaign gains full momentum through the early morning of the next day. The German captions seized with this film identify the breakthrough point shown here as Ligneville, Belgium, just south of Malmedy. The Nazis claim extensive destruction and considerable booty as their blitz roars through the Eifel area and into the valleys of the Ardennes. The German High Command has committed at least 20 full-strength divisions to the winter offensive. In support of the ground operations, the Luftwaffe is employed in its largest effort since D-Day, strafing and bombing our troops and convoys. Again referring to the German captions, they claim that an American column consisting of tanks, armored cars, and sundry service vehicles was wiped out as the Nazis began this drive before Malmedy, that their guns and annihilated. Later, reports from our command revealed that the Germans are employed captured Sherman tanks and American jeeps and trucks. Also, specially assigned Nazis wearing U.S. uniforms are discovered infiltrating behind our lines. The following scenes were listed as morale pictures by the German cameraman. Captured American cigarettes being distributed to panzer units. For the most part, von Rundstedt's divisions are comprised of men transferred from other sectors of the Western Front. But it's felt that at least some of the approximately 200,000 troops were drawn from farther afield, from Norway and the Eastern Front. Signal Corps films show U.S. troops on the southern wing of the American First Army forced back along the fluid front as the carefully planned offensive achieves initial surprise. On 17th December, infantry units move out of Weersfeld, Belgium toward Elsenborn. Later, regrouped American forces are to hold off a whole Panzer army in the Elsenborn salient south of Monschau. At a fuel dump on the road to Stavelo, gas, diesel oil, and kerosene are burned as the Nazis advance on the town in the early stages of the drive. Pillboxes are demolished. Combat engineers place 500 pounds of TNT inside one of the German-built fortifications. The pillbox is completely destroyed by the explosion. Trees are notched for the placement of TNT to form roadblocks. The enemy is attacking over ground where he made his blitz in 1940. The rapid advance creates isolated pockets of American resistance, but the pockets become defensive wedges with roadblocks and mines contributing to an overall holding maneuver. Engineers mine roads on the outskirts of Elsenborn. The beginning of the hurried rallying of our forces to stop the panzers. The breakthrough and fan-out tactics of the Germans have enabled them to create a salient which extends 51 by 40 miles at its greatest dimensions. Allied troops converging on the northern rim of the Belgian Bulge are commanded by Field Marshal Sir Bernard Montgomery. Lieutenant General Omar N. Bradley leads the forces on the south side of the salient. Participating troops include the veteran 82nd Airborne Division, rushed to Belgium from a rest camp near Reims, France. In a three-day battle, the 82nd retakes 8 towns, captures nearly 1,500 prisoners, and kills 1,860 Germans. 1st Division infantry and tank destroyers move up to counter the 12th SS Panzer Division's drive before Buchenbach. Meanwhile, 1st Division patrol searched the woods near Eupen, Belgium, where Nazi paratroops landed on the first days of the battle. According to intelligence reports, they were expected to work south from Eupen, cut the road to Verviers in the Hertogen Forest, and there meet with German elements coming up from the breakthrough point. These forces never arrived, and the parachute troops are gradually rounded up. One of the parachute packing cases, and a snow cape of the type widely used by the Germans on the snow-covered Belgian front. The greatest Nazi penetration is in the area west of Stavelot, which is 20 miles from the German frontier. Field positions are dug in on the heights overlooking the main road leading into the town. Seesaw battles take place in this area, with Stavelot changing hands several times. Fog bears down on our troops as they set up 90mm guns as roadblocks. Inside Stavelot on 21st December, after a clash of infantry and tanks 2 days before. Civilians who venture from hiding places rush for cover as the enemy attack is renewed. Stavelot has a normal population of 5,100. Malmedy, 8 miles northeast of Stavelot, units of an infantry division rushed in from the 9th Army front hold defensive positions. Malmedy is an important road center behind the enemy spearhead and undergoes 2 weeks of bombardment, but the enemy never gets beyond the edge of the town. "90mm guns are used to block all roads radiating out of Malmedy towards Spa and Liège. When captured in the Malmedy sector, this German corporal wore a GI uniform blouse, captain's bars, carried an AGO card, and wore our dog tags. At Saint-Vite, evidence of the Nazis mounting losses of materiel since beginning their drive into Belgium and Luxembourg. Reports from Supreme Allied Headquarters list 900 tanks lost by the enemy through the period 16th December, 4th January. Inspection of a destroyed German convoy reveals that the Nazis carried captured American supplies. In this cart, a German spy tried to make a getaway. Our troops surrounded at Saint-Vite put up a gallant stand to hold this vital road terminus. These men of an intelligence and reconnaissance platoon infiltrated through 18 miles of enemy-infested territory to reach our position at Saint-Vite. Every American vehicle mounting a machine gun or heavier weapon is brought into action as the Luftwaffe attacks all along the front. Exhaust vapor from dogfighting planes traces this pattern across the wintry skies. Up to 1st January, our aircraft had destroyed 823 German planes. Also 73 probably destroyed, 250 damaged. Our losses, 331 planes. before Bastogne are points of exodus for civilian populations fleeing the Nazis' advance on the left prong of their offensive. On Highway number 15, between Neufchâteau and Bastogne, military police check the credentials of all who pass. Even our own troops are carefully scrutinized. An incident of identification, wherein this Belgian citizen is now minus the mustache which appears in the photograph examined by the MP. At Bastogne, the Liège-Arlon highway meets 6 other roads. Our forces are regrouped to hold these vital approaches to the Meuse. Already an historic defense is being put up at Bastogne by troops which include the 101st Airborne Division. Another infantry unit moves up to relieve the defenders of Bastogne. It leaves Luxembourg on 22nd December, the day that Brigadier General McAuliffe, the 101st's acting commander, answered the Nazi ultimatum to surrender the Bastogne garrison with a single word: nuts.
Naval guns begin the action. Japs on shore are raked with broadside. The convoy, its way prepared by the warships, pushes on to the rugged island of Attu, held by the enemy. From the transports, the troops pile into their landing boats to capture the island that the far eastern enemy seized at the time of the Battle of Midway. The soldiers know that their job is an important one. Attu is beyond Kiska and flanks that Japanese base in the Aleutians, those isles of atrocious weather and fog. This operation is a model of sea and land tactics. On Attu, the Japs have been taken by surprise, and the powerful naval bombardment has smashed what resistance they could muster on the beaches. So the landing meets with little opposition. Soldiers swarm ashore with full equipment and plenty of supplies. Huge landing barges bring masses of ponderous mechanism, like that bulldozer for building a flying field. For Attu is to be an American air base. There are 2 landings, north and south, at Holtz Bay and Massacre Bay. After the first surprise, the Japs rally and fierce fighting is ahead. But the American forces are strong and well supplied. A Zero shot down by American gunfire. There's air activity in spite of bad weather. Braving Aleutian fog and storm, our planes support the ground troops as they drive to annihilate the Japs. The Scharnhorst, launched there, was one of the most modern of battleships, which made her sinking by the British one of the major naval exploits of the war. Raiding an Allied convoy bound for Russia, the Nazi sea giant was trapped by brilliant tactics. British warships hurled torpedoes and salvos of shell. The Duke of York's attack was decisive. Sir Bruce Fraser, victorious admiral. The Scharnhorst previously sank the aircraft carrier Glorious, which he once commanded. So victory is doubly sweet aboard the Duke of York.
back right there. Hold on. That's all. What is the average the last hour? 185. All right.
This is a monument that was erected by the Republic of Cuba for the sailors who went down in the Maine that was sunk in the harbor at Havana. The guns and the chains are taken from the Maine and put in the monument. The woman is holding two of the sailors, representing the men who died when the ship went down.
There he comes now.
Pipe down, give him a tray.
That's a bread. Come on, women dog. Hot dog. What's this stuff? Take it easy on that down there. What you think you're home? Or you'll get some. Dog. Get those mouth dog. Come on, let's go.
Stand by to fire a national salute of 21 guns. He gives the word while you call him.
All right. Anchors away, sir.
Very well.
Ahead. 5-2.
Delay it just a minute, please. The enunciators.
Anchors away, sir. Very well. How do you head?
5-2, sir.
Rudder amidships.
Midship.
Forward engine, making 1/3 speed ahead, sir. Forward engine, making 1/3 speed ahead, sir. Forward engine, making standard speed ahead, sir. Forward engine, making standard speed ahead, sir.
All right, Jerry.
All engines ahead, standard.
All engines standard.
Forward engine, making standard speed ahead, sir. Forward engine, making standard speed ahead, sir.
Channel out, sir.
Right away. Very well. Frying pan light vessel bearing 235, sir.
This is the cruise ship's galley where chow is prepared on high pressure oil burning ranges. Sailors are always hungry, so the cooks are always a busy gang.
Hey, Slim, what are we going to have for supper tonight?
Dutch, you simp, can't you see?
This isn't such a bad Navy after all.
Hey, mess cook, there's a fly in my coffin. Oh, shut up, he won't drink much.
Here, here's enough for the fly and you too.
Boys, Dutch, you are good. Boy, it's not no show him. What's this Dutch hay? I'll take a look at that grass. Pipe down here at the table now.
Wait till they pass up some pop.
Oh, shut up, you're not at home now.